So we're running through some comparisons of the Lenovo Legion Slim 5 to the Lenovo Legion Pro 5i, but I've also compared it to the Pro 5. So definitely check out that video if you're curious which SKU you should get when deciding between these models, because there's a lot of similarities, but there's also a lot of differences. And in this video, we're going to cover the differences between these two laptops. Now, first and foremost, the Slim is actually not so slim. As you can see here, you can barely tell the thickness difference. And as I pull these two laptops up, the weight and thickness will be on the screen, and it is a hair lighter and a hair thinner than the Pro model. So I'm not saying they need to call for a dedicated rename, but it doesn't really make sense that it's called a Slim when it's really not that much slimmer than the Pro series laptop. Save an extra 6% on a Lenovo Legion laptop by heading down in the description below, clicking the link and using the discount code BENKAISER6. That will give you an extra 6% off even sale prices of a Lenovo Legion or Legion Lock laptop, and it's good till the end of the year. So head down in the description below, click the link and use the code BENKAISER6. Save yourself some extra money. Don't even have to wait for the Black Friday deals. Now, taking a look at the ports, that's where you're actually going to see the biggest difference between these two laptops, besides the performance, which we'll check out in just a few minutes, and the display. But you can see that we have an SD card reader on the Slim 5, very similar to the Slim 7i. And so we have that SD card reader. And then on the back panel, we also have the same ports. We have network ports, USB Type A's. We have a USB Type C on the back panel of the Pro 5, but that USB-C is found on the side panel of the Slim 5. So we have all the same ports on these two laptops, excluding the SD card reader on the Slim 5 that does not appear on the Pro 5. So if you're a video editor, graphic designer, photographer, and you're often shooting pictures or shooting video and then going and loading it onto your laptop and you don't want to carry a dongle around, then the Slim 5 could be a great option for you. Now, definitely the biggest difference in the aesthetics on the Slim 5 versus the Pro 5 is going to be the back panel and the side panel. So depending on which design you like better, that actually might lead you to your decision, because as you're going to see here as we move through this video, there's not a ton of visual or even functional differences between these two laptops. Now, moving on to the bottom cover of the laptop, you can see that the bottom cover fits into the side panel, and there's a little bit of a ridge here. So this was intentional. This wasn't an accident. This wasn't poor assembly. They have the side panel fitting out a little from the bottom cover. Now, if we look at the Slim 5, this is actually less noticeable. There still is a bit of a lip here, but it's less noticeable than the Pro. So if you're wanting a bottom cover to fit nice and snug, a little bit more even into the side panel, then I would go for the Slim 5. However, keep in mind that both of these laptops are plastic bottom covers, side panels, and keyboard decks. If you want to get into the aluminum, you gotta go for the 7 series on both the Pro and the Slim. Okay, so keep that in mind. Otherwise, you got plastic. It makes the laptop a little bit lighter, a little bit, but definitely if you want somebody who wants aluminum build quality, then you'd have to go up to the 7 series. Now, the next thing I want to look at is you can see that we have speakers on the bottom covers of these laptops. Here's a quick audio sample so you can hear what those speakers sound like. See which one you like better. The upgrade path on the Slim 5 allows you to upgrade 2 RAM sticks. For the Pro 5i, 2 RAM sticks as well. If you're considering the 7i, keep in mind you can't upgrade both RAM sticks. It only comes with 1 RAM stick upgrade. So actually by choosing the 5, you actually get more upgrade opportunity than choosing the Slim 7 or Slim 7i. So these laptops are actually more comparable than going up to the 7 series. Very, very good. Also, both have upgradable M.2 drives. 2, one comes occupied, one is unoccupied when purchasing from the factory. As you can see, the laptops both have the same exact keyboards. You have the numpad on the right side panel, you have the full-size arrow keys, you have full-size shift keys on both the right and the left, enter keys, and your nice function buttons on the top of the keyboard. However, one thing that you notice is you have a black keyboard versus the matching silver keyboard on the Slim 5. Personally, I prefer the black keyboard. I like the aesthetic. I like the way it looks with the black to white contrast on the keyboard. keycaps. Really, really enjoy that. Now they both have the same key press, nice and quiet. You won't annoy anybody, whether you're in a classroom, office space, or in a coffee shop. It won't be like clank, 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 clank. Really nice, smooth keyboard. And then of course the trackpads are the same size. You can see here, same size trackpad, slightly darker appearance on the Pro compared to the Slim 5. And so really the choice is yours based on the appearance, because there's not really any difference between the actual feel of the keyboards or the trackpads. Here's a quick audio sample so you can hear for yourself what they sound like. Now they both have webcams on the top bezel. Here's a sample for you so you can see what those look and sound like as well. This is the webcam on the Lenovo Legion Pro 5i and a little sample of the audio for you as well. This is the webcam on the Lenovo Legion Slim 5 and a little sample of the audio for you as well. Now the screens are one area that we do see a difference. You're gonna have a slightly brighter screen on the Pro 5i compared to the Slim 5. So you're gonna have well over 500 nits of screen brightness for the Pro 5i with 100% sRGB, 80% Adobe RGB, and 80% DCI-P3, all at a delta E of 0.97. So definitely a nicer quality panel on the Pro for the model I have before me. For the Slim 5, we have a 99% sRGB, 77% Adobe RGB, and 77% DCI-P3 at a delta E of 1.18. So still a great delta E color accuracy, but a little bit dimmer and a little bit smaller color gamut range. However, if you're somebody who's looking for better battery life, the Slim 5 is going to be your choice with the Ryzen 7 7840HS processor. That HS series processor is far more efficient with a lower TDP than the Intel i7-13700H, and so that provides you with better battery life. Now, both of these laptops for the battery life test were set at 20% screen brightness with the screen at 60 Hz refresh rate. Battery saver mode turned on in Windows, silent mode in the Lenovo Vantage Center, and the GPU turned off. So it's only running on integrated graphics. So keep in mind, if you're looking for the type of results I'm getting with the results you're seeing on the screen now, you're gonna have to run those settings, and it's gonna decrease your performance, but give you longer battery life and more efficiency while using your laptop on the go. Now, if you're curious about the exact pricing and availability, you can head down in the description below and click those links. If you do make a purchase, I'll get a small commission, but at no extra cost to you. But of course, that's what keeps this channel alive and the helpful content coming your way. Now, let's go ahead and jump to the performance benchmarks. And just to reiterate the specs, we have the Intel i7-13700H with an RTX 4060 inside of the Lenovo Legion Pro 5i, and also has 16 gigs of RAM. Got 16 gigs of RAM over here with the Slim 5, except we have a Ryzen 7 7840HS and an RTX 4060. So really neck and neck as far as specs are concerned for GPU and RAM. CPUs are different, and that might make a big difference for you. So let's keep going into these performance benchmarks. First is Geekbench single core and multi-core. As you can see, we slightly have better performance out of the Intel processor on both single core and multi-core, but the gap gets wider on multi-core. And that's because we have 14 cores and 20 threads versus the 8 cores and 16 threads on the Ryzen processor. Now we see very similar results for single core and multi-core in Cinebench. So running into the real world test, you can see that the Intel processor is leading the pack. As we get into Photoshop, you can see we score a 1095 from the Legion Pro 5i versus the Slim 5's 928. So right off the bat, if you want more performance in Photoshop, you should go with the Intel processor. However, you're going to have less battery life than choosing the Slim 5. So it really depends on what you want, because that 928 in Photoshop is still a great score. And if you were to upgrade the RAM, which you can, both RAM sticks to 32 gigs, you're gonna have almost the same score. So really it depends on what you're looking for. Price point, options, efficiency, performance, really depends on your approach. Now, next we're going to take a look at After Effects. Now, After Effects also loves RAM, so the score you see here could be tweaked up a bit by upgrading the RAM to 32 gigs on the Slim 5, but as you can see, as it sits, we score an 807 versus a 921. 921, definitely better score. That 900 is really where you're starting to get some great performance inside of After Effects. 800 is still great, but it's not going to be quite as good as that 927 in just the smoothness of workflow and how the app responds while you're working inside of it. Now next will be Blender Classroom. Now this is an area where we actually see some things reversed. You can see that we have the Legion Slim 5 above the Pro 5i in Blender. So pretty interesting there. Otherwise though, Autodesk 3ds Max, Autodesk Maya, PTC Creo, and SolidWorks are all scoring better scores on the Pro 5i compared to the Slim 5. That higher performing single core and multi-core processor of the Intel is really just showing up that more efficient Ryzen processor. However, as we move into 4K video editing, neck and neck. 2 minutes and 36 seconds versus 2 minutes and 36 seconds. Absolutely amazing to see these get the exact same score. But as we move into 6K video editing export time, you're gonna get some advantage by going with the Pro 5i at a 12 minute and 26 second export time versus the 17 minute and 21 second export time from the Slim 5. So if I were choosing one of these laptops, I'd go with the Pro 5i because I do edit 6K video a lot, and that would be something that'd be important to me. However, if you don't, your playback's gonna be good, which I'll show you in a second, but your export time is gonna be slower than the Pro 5i. Looking at the playback, the Pro 5i drops 32 frames of 6K B-RAW and 15 frames of 6K red footage versus the Slim 5 dropping 137 6K B-RAW and 271 for 6K red footage. Now remember, that is out of 16,177 frames in the total project for both of those laptop tests. Now, one thing that kind of flips the script a little bit, and it's known by Ryzen in the past to get better export times out of DaVinci Resolve. We have a 424 export time for a 9-minute 4K clip out of DaVinci Resolve for the Slim 5 and a 4-minute and 43-second export time for the Pro 5i. Now, if you're looking for an efficient laptop that has great battery life, but also stellar performance, as you've seen in this video review, then I would go for the Slim 5. However, you're gonna have a slightly dimmer screen that's less color accurate, but you're still gonna have great performance and great upgrade path. If you're looking to get the most out of an RTX 4060 and have a really strong multi-core and single-core performing processor like the i7-13700H, then I would go for the Pro 5i. However, you're going to sacrifice a little bit of battery life when on the go and operating in super efficient mode. Links in the description if you're ready to make a purchase, or click or tap the screen here for more videos to help you with your buying decision. I'll see you here in the next one.